Today, I'd like to discuss why I am currently stacking silver, in reality, overstacking gold. Today is November 6th, 2025. Gold spot price is at $3,976.90. Silver sitting at $47.93. Platinum at $1,532. But before we get into that, first off, I have to say absolutely thank you so much to all of the people that showed up and watched my first video. I am kind of overwhelmed. I did not expect, honestly, like much of anything. I just thought I'd throw a video out there, see how it went, and move on from there. So thank you to all of you that supported the channel, mentioned the channel, and I don't know, wherever you did, but something happened. But anyway, way more people watched it, liked it, commented. And if you can't tell, I do try to respond to every single one of your comments. I will do my best. To me, the comment section is like a forum of a combined, 1,000 people watch something. We're all about 40, 50 years old, I would assume. So we have 40 to 50,000 years of experience. So I would be a fool to not take the opportunity to listen and dialogue back and forth with those of you that are taking the time to leave comments on the video. So thank you so much for doing that. And out of respect for your attention and time, I will do my best to make sure that all videos that I release are good in the no shill zone. So thank you very much. I do appreciate it again. For today's topic, it is why am I currently putting my time and putting my money into silver when I could be investing in gold or platinum, palladium, copper? And I think, perhaps a lot of you will agree with this. Maybe you disagree with it. Obviously, that's what the comment section is for. And I want to discuss sort of the main reasons why I am currently putting my money into silver rather than any other metal. I'm still dabbling here or there, but the bulk of my buying has been in silver. Now, there are a lot of good and probably bad reasons that I'm doing this, but if you have some of your own, please share them. I'm not going to elaborate on every single one of these points because there are so many that each one could probably be its own video and most likely will become its own video in time. So we will just kind of touch on them, give a little bit of a brief overview, synopsis, and go from there. Also, if you can't tell, I've got kind of all sorts of different types of silver laid out. We've, got bars and we've got rounds. We've got stackable rounds, 5 ounces, 1 ounces, 1.25 ounces, high premium stuff, cast silver, specialty limited edition bars. Here's another one for those of you that are like me and the nerds out there. We've got a beta Black Lotus edition from Magic the Gathering silver token. So I don't know. There's just a lot to enjoy just from the eye appeal. I do enjoy just having silver. I love the looks of gold too, but obviously with the price point of gold, I can afford to get much more variety of silver and enjoy the silver in my way. I like to handle it. I like to touch it. I like to look at it. I like to pull it out every so often and kind of just admire some of it. So I pulled out some bits and pieces for you guys today. I know that, the American Eagle is obviously the classic coin here. But, I actually really like the design of the Britannias as well. I do like that kind of shinier finish, but the size, the girth of this American Eagle is also, it's kind of awe-inspiring, right? You just want to kind of keep looking at it. So, a lot of different types of stuff. You got some maples. I don't know where they all are. Got to pull that stuff out at some point. But anyway, back on topic. Gold right now is sitting at double, basically, its all-time high. And I'm a little bit of a risk-averse person. So when I see something like that, while I don't think that gold and silver are at their tops, I do think that they have room to continue to go up. I will say that I'm hesitant to put my money into something that I feel like may have already kind of run up. And I would rather wait for, I don't know, a significant pullback and stabilization before I'm comfortable really going back into it. Now, I say that, and I have bought some gold in the last couple of weeks. I've bought silver in the last couple of weeks. In fact, I guess if you're not buying at the tops, you're not really trying to stack. I don't know. Because I feel like I buy the bottoms of everything. I buy at the tops of everything because I'm just one of those always be buying kind of guys. But I will say, silver being at its all-time high around $50, and gold being twice its all-time high around $2,000, and gold's at $4,000, it's twice its all-time high. I do feel like that's kind of it's just kind of a turnoff for me with gold, but I do think that they both have room to run over the long period of time. Silver has a lot of industrial usages that gold doesn't have, right? So I'm not going to go into every single one. You can add some in the comments if you want to bring it to our attention, or something that's very important to you that you want to call out. But silver's industrial usages are just continuing to increase, right? We've got, solar, basically any electrical kind of conduit kind of situation. We've got electrical panels. We've got the automobile industry. We've got the defense industry with missiles. And unfortunately, war is part of our globe's history. In fact, I'm reading a book right now, The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. And I think as much as YouTube videos, and I get a lot of information from YouTube videos, I think ultimately at the end of the day, everybody should continue to always read articles, read books, seek wisdom from others like we do on these channels in the comments to kind of continue to grow and learn and to be able to share that knowledge with others. But anyway, I'm reading this book. And so, defense industry is part of it too. Obviously, computer technology and GPUs, et cetera, chips. Around me, I don't know about you, maybe your area is a little different, but around here, we have a massive amount of data centers being built to house data. And if you're not in the tech industry or tech world, but data is sort of the currency of the 21st century. He who holds the data has the power right now. And so data centers aren't going to go away, especially with, government mandated requirements for data storage, etc. The data needs are continuing to increase. And then you have all these businesses that are creating their business off of basically stealing. You can see some of my artwork in the background. Maybe, yeah, there you go. Stealing people's data and buying it and trading it and selling it. It's only going to continue to become a larger and larger part of this world. I believe data centers are going to be there. And if you look into it, if you haven't already, but there's a crap ton literally worth of silver required to build out these data centers. So that's another big one. The industrial usages go on and on and on. But there's a lot of really interesting things that silver is the best metal at. I mean, even just the satellites, right? Just think about, just kind of brought this up off the top of my head, but think about all the satellites that we're launching into space and, all the technology in those. So anyway, I find it fascinating, the amount that it can be used. And so the fact that it has an industrial use means that, it's never going to be sort of this fad unless, of course, they found an alternative at some point, or the cost becomes so prohibitive that they do a different, cheaper metal, but they use twice as much of it, or something. I don't know. Anyway, silver is also, point, I guess, 3 or 4 here. Silver is also more affordable as a unit for barter or trade. So in a situation where I had to go up to somebody and I needed to get a quick service, maybe I needed some food, or I needed some water, or I needed some help, raising a log to build a home or something, whatever. In some barter situation, it would be nice, right, to be able to have a denomination of currency that is not necessarily very, very high. So I look at this as saying, okay, well, originally I was collecting 10-ounce bars, right? Because 10-ounce bars weren't really that expensive for a while. They were, $180, $200? Wasn't that crazy. Then I started to collect 5-ounce rounds. Again, most of the stuff you see besides the premium products, the limited edition stuff, I was buying at spot or very near spot. So then we have the 5-ounce rounds, again, a little bit less. And then, 1-ounce rounds being at like $18 to $20 a pop is not a big issue for me. But then silver keeps going up. Gold keeps going up. I'm sure like even a tenth of gold being $400 is a serious amount of goods and services that I would have to kind of put together a bundle of goods and services from one person to try to split that up. Or maybe I'm finding some weird, unique way to cut my coins down so that I can, have people weigh them out and trade them. It would get ridiculous, right? And so 1-ounce silver to me seems to be kind of like the play of where I want to be. I don't want to go into fractional silvers like tenths and such. I know that there's some really cool little bits and pieces and stuff and barter pieces, which I think are really cool, fascinating things. I just think that this right now, unless silver gets up to $200-300 an ounce, I think that for now I'm good with just these 1-ounce bars, 1-ounce bullion as being my sort of like trading currency. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about barter and trade. I have my own. I'll probably do a series of videos on SHTF scenarios and how they would play out and what things may or may not be useful in certain situations. Because in most of the bad ones that run through my mind, a can of beans and a spoon to me is more important than almost everything else that is equated to wealth, right? The other thing, I talked about the lower fractionality of silver and gold being easier. Also, another thing to mention is the gold to silver ratio being 80-1 or whatever it is today, 83-1 is an indicator to me that, one of two things here, right? Or a combination. Like gold could be overpriced, overvalued, overbought, whatever. And silver could be underpriced, or they both things may be true, or both could go up, but silver needs to go up at a faster rate than gold. You tell me what you think. I'm just kind of laying out some scenarios out there. But my instinct, my gut is telling me that as of right now, gold is sort of a little bit overvalued because it is twice its all-time high. It's had a massive run up with I mean, I know there's been a pullback, but let's, 8 to 10% off of a 200% run up is not that crazy. It's like not that big of a deal. So I feel like, again, I'm a little bit hesitant on gold, although I do still want to buy gold. I'm just going to buy it in smaller amounts than I would be buying. I'm going to buy probably 2 or 3 times as much silver than I would be gold at this moment. The other part is that, historically platinum, which is another metal that is, significantly rarer than gold, has historically been priced more than gold, right? And right now, platinum never, it did run up, for that 900 to whatever 1650 or 1700 it is today. It did have that run up. However, it has not gotten that sort of sex appeal that gold has with, foreign nations and big hedge funds and things like that. So it's still kind of sitting there, but it does have industrial needs. It is rarer. It is a precious metal, right? It has a reason. So either platinum is significantly undervalued based on history. Again, history is not an indicator of, future performance, right? But we're looking at this and going, well, perhaps, again, another data point that might say that gold is a little overvalued right now. Now, again, I think long term, all of us are good, but that's just little things that I'm a little risk averse kind of guy. I don't want to always just go full bore jumping in on the deep end at the height. I would rather just kind of slowly dollar cost average, rein back my spending on something when I believe that it's overpriced, and spend more money on things that I believe are underpriced, which I do think silver still has room to run. Actually, I think it has significant room to run based on just the inflation over the last 30, 40 years that's not been accounted for in the price of silver, right? The other thing I like to do, and this is kind of something that we're going to be getting into, is, the constitutional books. Like I want to fill out these. I would love to have the wealth to be able to do a full, pre-33 gold book, but I don't. So Franklin half dollar books and things like that, it's just fun to me. It's just something to do as a little bit of a hobby. That being said, our little mimic treasure chest over here, which, by the way, I need to figure out a name for this guy. At some point, if anybody can come up with a name with this thing, let me know. But, we do have a little bit of a mail day. So inside the mimic here, we did get a roll here of silver halves, 90% silver halves, and I'm kind of excited to get into it just based on the 2 things on top and bottom there. So I'm gonna clear this space real quick. All right, through the magic of television, here we are. Let's see if we've got any Franklins that we can go ahead and just add to the book and check out these coins. This is my first look at these. I've never actually ordered a tube of these unsorted coins here, so we'll just take a minute to look at them. 1943, beautiful. A little bit of wear, a little bit, coaling. There we go. We got a Franklin. There we go. This is what we're looking for. So we have a 1957, 1948, it looks like. Yep, 48. Oh, good. We're going to get a lot of these, it looks like. Perfect. 1957. So kind of how I would do it is just stack them all up and then take the ones that are the best looking. This one looks really nice. If I can get a good look on it for the camera there. But yeah, collecting the constitutional silver like this and using it to fill out these books and just have fun with it is a good reason for me. Just, again, I'm getting kind of like multiple uses out of it, right? I'm getting to enjoy it. I'm getting to, have a little bit of a hobby collecting it, looking at cool and interesting dates, learning about the coins themselves, how they are produced and what they symbolize. Obviously, at the same time, I'm increasing my weight on my stack, 1941, and having just enjoying the coins, right? Just enjoying the hobby. And I think that's honestly the most for me. Now, gold is something, I do have goals with gold. I can't say that 3 times fast, right? I do want to get a 50 pesos gold coin, the 1.2 ounces, because I think they just look fantastic. I also really want to get a gold buffalo. I do not own either of those things. And so those are absolutely goals of mine to work my way up to those. So you'll see on the channel as we kind of piecemeal this whole thing together, bit by bit, kind of acquiring and discussing. So yeah, there's a lot to digest here, a lot to get into. I do think that I'm going to really take these topics and break them into their own topic, and each will be for a video, 1934. And we'll make a video out of each one of them and sort of do a deep dive with actual resources pulled up to give some real figures and real information from real credible sources. Don't just take my word for everything. Obviously, do your own research and use that brain that you've been given to go out there and make the best decisions for you and your family with your money. But I like to just have this conversation and hear what people have to say and go from there. So yeah, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try to find some cool dates and put them in my book. And then on the next stream, I can show you kind of what we found there. I don't want to bore you with me going through all this, but that's what I've got for you today. Hope you have a fantastic, awesome weekend if you're rolling into that as well. And this is Silver Dragoon. Appreciate your time and attention. I'll see you on the next one. Spot, what are you doing over here? Okay. Look, I get it, okay? I've been busy trying to record videos and just start this YouTube channel up. I got it. I'll feed you. Next video, I'll feed you. I promise.